Hey everyone, Greg here. As you may know by now, I'm the co-founder and CEO of TripShock, an online reseller for water sports and tours. For the past 12 years, we've had the pleasure of working with hundreds of operators across the country, and we're looking to grow our community. It's free to sign up, and you only pay when we bring you confirmed bookings. We'll help you reach new customers, fill empty seats, and grow your business like so many have done with us over the years. Head over to partners.tripshock.com to learn more about our program, read testimonials, or speak directly with our supply team. As always, thank you for listening and enjoy the show.
They come to relax, enjoy the beach, have fun, and spend money. And that's where we come in. This is the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. Find out tips on the best ways to market and operate a water sports business. If you're a water sports operator, you need to grow your brand, operate more safely, upgrade your operations, and of course, increase bookings. We're industry veterans, broadcasting from Destin, Florida. This is the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. And this is Kevin O'Neill and Greg Fisher.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 52 of the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. On today's show, we're going to be talking about what to do when you are not in the prime area of your destination, when your marina is off the beaten path. Like how do you get customers? How do you grow your business? And I think this one hits close to home because my first business, my jet ski business, we were not in the prime marinas off the main thoroughfare. In Orange Beach, Alabama. We were way off to the north. Kevin's now in a new situation at his new location, where it's further west
or east.
That's
not like public knowledge yet.
Oh.
Yeah, because I've had a lot of people ask me like where we're going, and so I've just kind of had that under my rest. But yes, you've heard it here first. We are moving locations here shortly, but I don't think we were in a prime area to begin with, if you're talking about like Destin as being the main thoroughfare where all the foot traffic is.
Yeah. What are you drinking? That tea or coffee?
Coffee.
What kind of coffee do you drink?
I drink espresso.
Okay.
A big one. I have like 4 of them a day.
I know. I knew it.
I drink a lot of espresso, man. A ton. Cafe Bustelo. It's like Cuban espresso. I'll drink a lot of it. And it doesn't even do anything for me anymore, man. Like I drink those and then I'll take oh man, I did it again, man. The muscle rub that's on my hand. I just wiped my face and I did it again. It's like there forever. I don't know. Anyway, I do that. And then I actually have hydroxy cuts, not because I'm trying to lose weight, but they're like, oh man, I'm forgetting what they're called. A thermogenic. So they ramp you all up. I'm tired, man. You'll see when you get to like 42. I'm just like tired constantly. I'm getting old, dude. I'm getting old. Yeah. So anyway, when you're not in the prime, you're not in the prime market, or in the thoroughfare, I don't think it matters as much as it used to.
Yeah, I think that's like the premise of the conversation, right? Like 10 years ago, if you weren't on the strip or where all the walk-up traffic is, you really had to work your butt off to get people to your location. But now with the internet, everyone's booking online. I mean, how many online bookings do you get compared to like walk-ups and phone?
99%. 99%, like 99% walk-ups or 99% online. And I would probably say 90% online versus phone. Yeah, I don't do a ton of phone bookings. Like the majority of our shit comes online.
All right, pause. Put your phone on silent.
My phone?
That little dinging? What's that?
Oh, shit. Yeah, whoops. Who cares? Oh, my God. You're such an edit Nazi.
Oh, yeah.
I was like listening to the Rogan podcast and there's like ringing in the background and shit. You're a little OCD.
Absolutely. 100%. I'm not even going to lie about that.
But hey, it's not even just internet, right? Because like think about this too. Like if you have a similar product and your value prop is better, like now and like I didn't even think about this until we just got on here and started talking about, but think about what Uber and Lyft does to that equation too. Now it's like people are like, oh, I don't want to get in my car and drive over there, like, well, whatever. We're just gonna go here because it's right there. Well, now you can just get an Uber. Like Uber and Lyft makes everything even like that much easier. So realistically, if you have a better product, meaning like from a customer facing perspective, you know, your marketing is legit, your fucking website looks great, your reviews are fucking clutch. Like, you can compete with anybody in like the prime fucking market or the prime real estate or whatever. And then also people are getting really hip to just even traveling in general. Like we talk about Disney World all the time. Like it used to be September, October, you could go in and fucking just walk into every single ride. Now people are hip to that. They're also hip to those prime areas being so congested, having to wait in line, paying like a higher cost because it's in a prime real estate or whatever. It just, I think that shit is starting, like people will come to you. And I realized that really early on. Like I didn't give a fuck where we landed. And it's like one of my favorite things to say because people always tell me people wouldn't come across the Destin Bridge to come to Destiny Water Adventures. And I was like, I'll fucking prove that wrong.
Do you think that consumer behavior has changed? Because now, and I think that plays a big role in why you don't necessarily need to be in the main thoroughfare. You can be off the beaten path at a smaller marina or away from where, you know, the bulk of the people are traveling or staying, I should say.
Well, they're looking at maps. Yeah, they look at maps. And now it's like, maps. And it's like, realistically, those little dots like aren't that, like if you're talking about 5, 6, 7 miles or something like that, when you're looking at Google Maps, they're just like, you just go, oh, it's right next door. It's right down the road, you know, and it's just a little hop, skip, and a jump from our hotel. Why not?
I wanted to choose a location that was further away because usually when you're in that main stretch, you're in a concentrated area. Typically, there's parking issues. A lot of competition real close by. Customers get confused because there's like 5 water sport companies all jammed next to each other. I kind of like the idea of being away. Usually, you're going to get better rent because you're not having to pay the surcharge of being in the main district. And I knew that I'm a marketing guy, so it doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm going to find customers online. They're going to book. And sometimes there's benefits because we had the best launch area in Orange Beach. You could literally within minutes, you can start going fast. And usually when you're in like a concentrated area, your customers are not getting the full, you know, rental time because they're having to, you know, throttle through all this, what do you call it? Idle. You have to idle through all the mess.
Like what?
Throttle. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Guys, thought leaders of the water sports industry. Greg's like, listen, man, I'm a fucking marketing guy. All right, stop. I don't even know the one show we talked about when you're like, I've been on a jet ski like a total of 3 times. Listen, but not for nothing, dude. Like, same, man. Like, fucking ask me how many times I've been on a boat this year. Fucking 0, bro. Like, I'm fucking all set. You know, I go the rest of my life without ever fucking being on a boat, dude, without ever being on a fucking jet ski.
Oh, I love having these conversations with people, and they're like, "Oh, you own a jet ski business? What jet ski should I buy?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "Buy a Yamaha."
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, "What model?" Yamaha. I'm like, "I don't know. Go to the dealer and buy a Yamaha."
Yeah, get a Yamaha. Yeah,
they think I'm some expert in it. No, I'm an expert in marketing.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about that.
I'm like right in the middle. Like I'm right in the middle. Like I could tell you enough about jet skis to seem like I'm an enthusiast, and you know I know enough. I know enough about everything to be just a little bit dangerous. But yeah, back to that. Like I think that again, it comes down to a value proposition. So if you have a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Like good graces with your marina, and they allow you to maybe make some changes at the cost of, you know, your own cost. Let's say you're renting a slip. Marina's not gonna let you, let's say, dump sand, you know, to beautify your beach. You know, if you're running jet skis up on a beach or something like that, or add whatever it is, a tiki bar, or whatever little, you know, cornhole, whatever things you do, you can dress up your location, spend a little bit of money on it, and then make that a destination. Like I like to refer to it, you know, we always use the restaurant thing too, right? Like I'm not gonna, I might have a hotel with a steakhouse in it, but I'm gonna drive 20 minutes to go get like a fucking, you know, 8+ rated Wagyu beef. Like if I'm gonna go out, I'm on vacation. I'm here for experiences. not just for convenience. That's one part of it. And don't get me wrong, I get some of these things are commoditized, but if you're a savvy enough marketer and you're about your branding, then you can make that commodity a brand to the customer on all of your marketing materials. And maybe not 9 times out of 10 they're going to make that drive, but certainly I think like 7 out of 10 times. I think, or at least to the discerning or educated customer. And let's just be honest here, isn't that what you want anyway? Don't you want a educated customer? As I say that, I just booked Razor. We're leave for Vegas tomorrow, and I rented a Razor. And Steve was giving me a hard time about who I got it from or whatever. And I did zero due diligence. I was just like, I know it's a jet ski tour is a fucking jet ski tour, dude. A Razor through the desert's a Razor through the desert. Like, there's really, but customers don't know that. You know what I mean? Your customers aren't going to know that. They're going to, they're going to, I mean, again, I might be being a little bit.
You made a great point. You didn't even do any. Most customers are like that when they're booking. They're just clicking on the first link they see on Google. Fort Walton, Destin.
But a good percentage are though. A good percentage are. I get a lot of people, man, that always reference our reviews. That always reference, or maybe not a lot, but a small majority. And if you can grab them.
But if let's say they're referencing the reviews post booking, or I wouldn't say post booking, but they've already clicked the first ad you have on Google, or the first map pack listing. They click it. Everything looks right. The price. I don't think a lot of people are really digging very deep. They're seeing that this website is well put together. You maybe have a review widget on there, or maybe they saw the reviews through Google, and they're buying because you're hitting all you're meeting all the specifications they're looking for. They're looking to go to maybe Crab Island, or maybe they're looking to go to do fishing, and you're meeting all those specifications that they're looking for. So it's like, okay, well, prices are good. They got good reviews. I'm going to do it. And I don't unnecessarily think an extra 10, 20 minutes drive is going to change that person's decision.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't either.
It's nothing's worse than going on a vacation and you spend an hour looking for the right boat. Like, you're going to look maybe two, maybe 3 options. We see this on TripShock. The average customer that looks at different listings, it's like 1.5 or something. Right. They're not even looking at 2 listings. They're just clicking the first one they see that looks good, and then they're okay. It looks good. Let's book it. So I think we overthink that, and that's why in 2021 you don't necessarily have to be in the best location, because that's how that consumer behavior is changing.
It's crazy, man. And with the location thing, especially for what we're doing, the landlords can be such greedy fucking pieces of shit. Like, I might be a little biased here given my current situation at the moment, but they really can be. I hear some people that are paying upwards of 20% of gross sales in this market for their fucking rent. And it's like, man, in order to keep up with that, because this is a problem. So you have like maybe one location where they're living on that paradigm that, oh, we're in this great location, so we don't spend any money on marketing. Your marketing and your location is your marketing is your location. That's part of the whole thing. No, I don't need to spend any money on marketing. All right. Well, you got one guy that fucking sets the tone, and then everybody is 15 to 20%. Well, it's like, well, wait a minute, man. Fucking hold on. Dude, I still have to pay for marketing. Like, you might be in one of these secondary markets and they might be looking at this place, got all this walk-up traffic. That's the other side of that coin, though. You still have to spend more money on marketing if you don't have a ton of walk-up traffic. You have to get in there. You have to spend the money. You have to get creative. You have to focus on content. Like, you've got to fucking drill your marketing hard. So if you go into this shitty market and you got some fucking asshole that's like, smoking on his fucking cigar, fucking, oh, yeah. I had this guy out here in the bar. And that's what he told me. He wanted 20%. I about smacked him out of his fucking chair. Get the fuck out of here, dude. 20%, like, for this market? Like, dude, hey, my door's unlocked. Come on over. Fuck my wife while you're at it, bro. Like, yeah, 20%. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, it's going to cost me like 20% just to get people to fucking come here, man. So there is that side of it when like, yes, you can market your way out of just about anything when it comes to selling your product. But at the same point in time, you have to look at your costs. And if you're paying 20% of gross or 15% of gross for your fucking rent, and then and you're just opening up year one, your marketing costs are going to be high. You got to start to think, man, I might be paying 20-25% of gross just on marketing. Right there, you're encroaching on 40% all right off the top before you hire people, before you buy equipment, before you fucking put gas in your shit, before all the intangibles that come up.
No,
and then
you're
it's
spot on.
Yeah, and then you're talking, you have a 20% return. You might as well just put it into NFTs or crypto or something, you might as well just put it in the fucking market for 20%,
When I was in my second year at the marina owner called me up and said, hey, I'm thinking about going to, because I had a 2-year agreement, thinking about going to a percentage rent. And he said, I'm just trying to get some feedback. And I said, absolutely not. I said, do you know how hard it is to get people to this marina? It's hard. This marina is not close to all the other ones on the strip. If you go to percentage rent and I'm paying 20-25% to bring someone to this marina, which is going to go to your store, eat at your restaurant. That's the thing that gets me about marina managers is that they don't take into account what the businesses bring to the marina. I mean, they can sell sundries, they can sell merchandise. If they put a restaurant or a bar, I mean, don't take the customers that your vendors bring for granted, because they're putting dollars in your pocket in addition to the rent you're getting.
Yeah, we'll go in on marina managers and ownership once I have my deal inked. And I'm ready to. We're gonna have a very special Kevin episode where I'm gonna rant and rave like
I think
other. Maybe not.
We need to bring a marina manager on the show.
Oh man, I'll go ahead and bring the one that fucking was at our marina. No. But so that's the thing, and I want to go on a little rant a little bit right now because I think that's problematic, and I think it's problematic in most industries when you're dealing with uncreative fucktards. And what I mean by that is it's like, well, why don't I just fucking take more from this guy? Because I constantly see this happening. It's just like they see what you're bringing in, and they think one of two things. Either one, fuck that guy, I'm going to do it myself. Hey, this is your property. Have that. By all means, I get it. You know what I mean? If that was my shit, yep. Or two, they think, well, I'm just going to jack up the rent. They see these, companies. I mean, shit, man, there's water sport companies out there that fucking have $150,000 days. You know what I mean? And so when you're a landlord and you see that and you're a fucking greedy piece of shit, you're like, well, let me they can afford it. That's what this guy's attitude was, is that, you rent a boat for $400, like, you make that one day, like, or whatever it was, you know what I mean? Like the one day you'll pay your rent, And like, first of all, I'm like, well, thanks for telling my fucking business, jackass, but secondly, it's like, rather than create a place that can command that rent by making different offerings, by having a restaurant, by having an added value proposition, rather than just like some fucking dilapidated fucking docks and some shitty marina, where you have something. So the Destin Harbor, like I get it, man. Like I can understand why some of those guys say 15 and 20% because there's a ton of shit happening there. It's like people are coming to this location, they have a ton of overhead, they have a ton of costs, but there's other places that will just see that and then say, yeah, like we're going to charge X, we're going to charge Y. A lot of places have city contract, county contracts where, and you're just month to month, your grandfathered in, you're not going anywhere as long as you take care of your shit, have a good service, a good product. But if you have a private marina that just wants to like jack up rent, it gets really frustrating because it's like, well, what value are you bringing to this relationship? So yeah, I'm just a commodity. I'm running a boat. I'm running a jet ski. I have a parasail boat. I have a fucking pirate boat. I have a snorkel boat, whatever it is. People are coming here. But at the same point in time, like, what are you doing as ownership to be able to make money off those people that are there and be able to sell them stuff, whatever it may be, food, sundries, whatever it may be, rather than just looking at your tenant and going, oh, he's making a bunch of money, I'm going to fucking jack the rent up on him. Like that doesn't build the market in any way. Like it gets frustrating.
And I'm sure some marina owners are probably listening. And one thing I want to make clear is that your vendors are your best marketers because they have to bring people to that marina in order to survive. They're going to work like hell to promote your marina, promote their business. It's just really strange how this vertical integration comes into play where they want to take over, the supply side when they could focus strictly on the marina, providing a great marina experience, putting a restaurant, putting a bar, going after merchandise, doing partnerships. And that way it's convoluted. I don't want to manage boats. I don't want to manage the customer, the all the issues that go along with it. I want to put someone in there that's a professional. They're going to have their own insurance, be liable for things. And then I can just 100% focus on monetizing that marina and doing what I do best and bringing in a lot of great partners.
Well, it's not even just that. And that's why it was fairly easy for me to come in here as a marketer and be able to do pretty well because I'm focusing on my business, which is water sports. That's what I know. Like I didn't fucking open up a restaurant and then decide to figure I would monetize my docs on the ass end of that. And like, oh man, I could be good. And you see, especially in this market, I can't attest to what's happening in other places, but because of the way the harbor is chopped up there, I see a lot of half-ass shit going on. A lot of half-ass shit, a lot of bad websites, a lot of bad marketing, a lot of bad looking boats, a lot of bad customer service, a lot of bad reviews. And listen, if you're listening to this right now and you got a 4.2, you got a 4.1, you got a 4.0 on Google, like you're missing the fucking mark. I'm sorry. You are either something happening, there's a disconnection where you are 100% treating this as a commodity and not as a brand and not as a customer service. You're not just renting people shit. You're providing a service. And that is not just crummy customers. Like, don't get me wrong. We do have a lot of crummy customers. People love to talk shit on reviews. I'll give you that. But if you're looking at a 20% negative fucking review margin, you're fucking up, man. And not for nothing, but look, if you own a restaurant, that's like you're a restaurateur for 20, 25 years, and then you come in and decide you're going to start fucking water sports, you know what I mean? Like, I would probably be at a 4.0 if I started a restaurant, so I feel like sometimes that our industry is not given the proper amount of respect that it deserves when people just think that they can come in and just do this shit. And this is where you start to see accidents. This is where you start to see injuries. This is where you start to see fuck ups. And I've seen it more than enough times, man, where people who had no fucking business, who had no clue about this industry, maybe had some money, maybe got into it. And obviously there's a little edge in my voice. It does piss me off because that affects my bottom line. It affects the industry. But at the same point in time, there's a ton of resources, and not to get on a soapbox, but this is part of the reason why we do this show. First and foremost, when we first got into the show, like safety and marketing were the two things that I talked about constantly. I'll beat the safety thing. I'll beat the safety thing to death because that is our first priority on the water. As mariners, as professional mariners, which is what we are. If you're renting somebody a boat, if you're offering that boat, those people are looking to you as being a professional. I don't come into your restaurant and get a piece of undercooked fish because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. We have to take this as an industry just a little bit more serious than I'm going to get a couple of jet skis, run them out and make a bunch of money. You better damn sure make those people A, are protected, B, are having a great time. They're going to thrive, you're going to thrive, and everybody, the entire industry is going to do great. So anyway, you heard? Don't respect, put respect on my shit, man. What was it, Birdman? He said that. Better put respect on my name, man. Put respect on my water sports. Yeah,
I'm trying to think of some operators that we've worked with in the past that came from like different industries.
There's a lot.
None of them come to mind. Right. I know after this podcast, I'm going to think
I can pick a whole bunch of them, man. Because especially with boat rentals, because everybody with the boat rentals thing, they're just like, I'm just going to get some boats, rent them, and fucking off we go. Hey, how hard is that? And I don't take that from most people. Yeah, I will agree that it's fairly easy, but at the same point in time, are you an experienced boater? what was that fucking guy? He's like, I'm a big wreck guy. In the fucking county, I didn't even know like what he was saying. I was like, what do you mean you're a wreck guy? Oh, you're a recreational boater. Like, congratulations, man. Like I just feel like I understand some of the frustration on the part of like Destin City Council when these guys are like poo-pooing on the renters, and these guys have been here for 30, 40 years driving boats and to the, whatever, they think they know what they're doing, and they see these renters and they, go, oh man, those guys really don't know what they're doing. The guys who are renting them don't know what they're doing because boating isn't their life. Being on the water, being a maritime professional isn't their life. They bought 5 boats, they bought 5 jet skis and thought they'd get into the business, And I see more of that here in this market than in say South Florida, where I see a lot of captains that are starting like chartering business, when I see a lot of guys that are experienced fishermen that are doing jet ski tours. So here in this market, I can't speak to like Central Florida or other parts of the state, but I do see a lot of that here, where the boats and the jet skis as an investment without taking the time to educate themselves on, the waterways, educating themselves on their machines, on their boats, on what it really takes to see the way your environment, the flow and ebb of the waterways that you're on. Like when I get out there on the Crab Island, when I'm back in the Santa Rosa Sound, everything has a motion to it. There's a fluidity of what's going on out there at certain times of the day. There's an ecosystem to the recreational boating ecology that's happening in any given market. And if you don't know that, if you don't understand where their pain points are, where the congestion, where the flats are, where the blind spots are, if you can't educate your customer about who's ready to fucking go out there or where they're getting ready to go, you have no fucking place doing this shit. I'm sorry, but you don't. And it takes us right back to location. If you're operating out of a certain marina, you have to know all the characteristics of that marina and all the places that they're going and the places that they're going to go, because there's 101 things that can happen out there that you have to sort of like know. All right, yeah, there's trees right there. I know exactly where you're at when you have a lost customer who doesn't know where they're at. So tied into where your location may be and how you can kind of circumvent the hot spots, there's also the challenges of being in that, maybe that not hot spot or that kind of off the road type of place where you might have coves and little areas that people have to get in and out of. You might have a parasail boat that draws 5 feet and you have to be able to tell your captain that, hey, this is, you have 3 feet. There's a flat over here. There's a very specific way you have to get in. There might be no fly zones. So in addition to where you're trying to drive traffic, you also have to know what that traffic looks like once it leaves your destination to bring it back to safety.
The destination or the location side of things, there's a lot of things, to consider when you're choosing places. And I think a lot of the reasons people go to places off the beaten path is because of price and availability. Mm-hmm. But don't ever think that, oh man, I'm here, this is an awful spot, but it's the only thing I can get. That is not a problem in 2021. We know that people are paying, they'll find you if you market yourself, and they're not afraid to drive or take an Uber or Lyft, as long as it's not like way out there. Hell, I see people that will book boat rentals in Fort Walton Beach, and they're coming all the way from Panama City Beach. It's like an hour and a half away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same Miami to Key West.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just looked for like boat rentals online and they hit it and it's like, oh, it's an hour and a half away. But some destinations, like, you drive. I mean, hell, when I went to New Zealand, I mean, everything we did was like an hour and a half away. So it was just the way it is. I don't know if that's a good comparison, but when people are traveling, they don't know that. They don't know that something might be 10 minutes away. They're looking for an experience. They're looking at your website. They're trying to envision themselves having a good time with your business. So if it means that they have to drive an hour, I think they will. And I think you have to embrace it, and it can be a stepping stone. Start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And I know a lot of locations, marina space is very, very limited.
Yep. And also having a strong sales team. I mean, when you have to have like the Rolodex of objections for your sales staff. When your people are answering the phones and they call routinely, we have this. They made the booking, they call back, they want to cancel because it's not in the Destin Harbor. They're one of these repeat fuckers that come down here every 20 years, and they think they got to walk to their boat. So I hit them with. I mean, it's not like a sale. It's the truth. Like the whole harbor's a no wake zone. There's a ton of traffic. You have to pay for parking. You have no idea. You might park in one spot and have to walk a fucking half mile down if you park in the city parking or whatever. And then your shit's way down at the end of the harbor. And so at the end of the day, we might be an additional 20 minutes away from Crab Island, but the time and effort and money that you make up where you just roll into our location, park, get on your boat, open up your throttle and go. There is no zone. You just go. So at the end of the day, I would venture to say the time that you lose driving to Crab Island from our location via boat, and let's just unpack that for a second. It's a beautiful drive. Like you're not stuck with 500 other boats like trying to navigate through the fucking harbor doing 5 miles an hour. Like you're going along some most beautiful stretch of the intracoastal waterway that you can imagine. It's gorgeous out there, and there's not. I mean, so the benefits just far outweigh the deficits of okay, yeah, you're right next to Crab Island, but you have to deal with all this other shit. But hey, and we're more inexpensive, and we put a free cooler on the boat, and we do this, and we have that, and we do this. And, But by all means, if you want to pay the extra $200 and lose 20 minutes out of your rental, go to the harbor. So you have to make sure that you have a great value proposition as to why that person should have to drive. And we do that all the time. People call me like, oh, we thought this was whatever it was, Shell Island or in Panama City. We had a what I call a trip cock customer. She fucking was giving me hell, man. Like she wanted like a refund. I threw it back. I'm like, call them. They'll do it. And then they were like, you got to call us. They'll do it. And so finally I'm just like, look, I think I'm going to have a great time. Come on down, Crab Island, blah, 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 blah. She got here. Fucking boat breaks down after 2 hours. And I was like, here's your money back. I wish I would have sold it, but you have to have this value proposition. You have to have a reason. You have to have added benefits, especially if people are calling with objections as to having to make the extended trip over to you. Even if it's a small 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 miles, whatever it may be, you have to have a reason why they should come to you.
Yeah. Before you got here, I know some of the For Walking Beach businesses used to incentivize like, hey, if it's too far, then we'll cover your gas or something stupid like that. Right. It's those little things that is just a way. If they say, oh, it's too far, it's 20 more minutes than I wanted to drive. Well, it's going to be a beautiful drive. Here's, $10 off your booking, help cover gas or something small. But you have to have your staff trained on all the BS you're going to get because they don't want to drive an extra 10, 15 minutes because you're not on the strip. It doesn't matter one way or another if you're 5 or 15 minutes away. It's all subjective based on your.
And then while they're pants off, make sure that you are differentiating your product from a commodity to a brand, that your customer service is killing it, that, you made a great connection with the people, that from beginning to end that we talk about all the time, from the booking to the end of the trip and beyond, that you're constantly providing value to them. They're never, ever, ever, they're always going to make that extra drive. You're going to become the new place that they come to every single year. Oh, I see that review time and time. We use Destiny Water Adventures every year. We used to go to blah, blah, blah in the harbor. Now we go see Destiny Water Adventures. Every year we come see those guys because they fucking consistently knock it out of the park. So you not only have to provide or put that value proposition up, you have to deliver on it and then fucking over deliver again.
So someone's in a situation where the only spot they can get is far away from the main thoroughfare in their destination. What are some red flags that some people think about, should be thinking about when looking at a marina that's off the beaten path? Is there anything that
logistics? You have, let's say for example, parasail. If you're going to go parasail, there's certain bodies of water you need room to parasail. So if you're buying a parasail boat, you're going to start a parasail business and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to go down the road. Well, where is everybody flying? Why are they flying there? Is it the water depth? More than likely. Is it how large a body can you actually tack in that body of water? So now do you have to run, let's say, on an hour and a half because you have a longer distance to go where everybody else is flying? So now what can you do value incentives there? Are there things that you can add to your parasail trip that are going to, and the reason I say that is because you're probably going to have to raise your price a little bit. So not only are you off the beaten path, you have to charge a little more, because if you have to run on the hour and a half rather than on the hour, if you're constricted by the amount of time it takes for turnarounds. So that's just one example. So jet skis, if you're located in a no wake zone, do they have to cruise through a 20-minute no wake zone and they lose half their time, idling around? Yeah. Do they even know the difference though? So I mean, because I know Jay, like one of Jason's sayings are, he's like, idle or ride with the best or idle with the rest. He lets everybody know that you're going to be idling. I would call it no slow if it were me personally, Jason, if you're listening to this, because you got to figure there's a lot of people that have never ridden jet skis that are like, what's idle?
Honestly, people don't know.
They don't.
Difference. They don't know. And I know this firsthand. They just look at the price.
Yeah.
1 hour, this price, they don't care if they're idling for half the time. And which really sucked, because we had the best location in Orange Beach when it came to idling. I mean, or no idling. I mean, you can literally go fast within minutes, where most of the locations where all the marinas were located, I mean, you had to idle quite a ways before you can get and start going fast. And that's one of the benefits of being in some of these off the beaten path marinas, is that they're near bodies of water that you can just, you don't have a lot of restrictions. Or it could be the other way around. But in my experience, usually you're in a good spot, because when you're at a marina that's in a congested area, there's going to be a lot more boat traffic, just like Destin Harbor, for example. All the really popular locations, you're going to have no wake zones, but like Fort Walton, a place like that, you can pretty much go fast right out the gate.
I mean, and then it also depends on like what you're doing, So if I'm doing like kayak tours and I'm near the Sound, like, I mean, if I'm going to go on a fucking kayak, it's going to be in the Sound, not in the middle of the Destin fucking Harbor. I see that shit. I see people on kayaks out there. I'm like, man, are you people nuts, man? What the fuck are you giving these fucking people kayaks for in the middle of the harbor to the 72-foot sport fish throwing an 8-foot weight, man? Dude, it's insane. So it's like, why? It's like if those locations are great for boat rentals or for jet skis, like, are they great for parasailing? Are they great for kayaking? Like, there might be strengths or things that you're missing out on that you could be adding to or innovating. Like that's another thing. Play to the strengths of where you're at. You might have some great like ecological, people that are in the Key West bite, man. They do fucking bike tours. And it used to be back in the day, everybody wanted to parasail on the beach. Rich had like the only parasailing in Key West on Smathers Beach. But what happened? People still were going to parasail. They didn't have that great turnaround time like they did right off the beach. Shuttle, boom, 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 boom. They had to idle. They realized that people didn't care so much about their flight time. So they started giving shorter rides to make up. They had to, because they had to stay on the hour. But all the water sports has started happening out of the bite, where before it was happening in different places. Everyone thought you had to be on the beach. Same thing here. Everyone thinks you have to parasail in the Gulf. A lot of times people they don't give a shit about that. They just want to go on a parasail ride. And then again, you play to those strengths. If your big thing is like, the crystal blue water, you're going to parasail above the crystal blue water. Fucking great. Awesome. Great marketing tool, man. Me, I'm going to be like, you're going to have the best view of the fucking Destin Harbor or of Crab Island. Like wherever it is that I'm doing, I'm going to find something great about that location, and I'm going to market the shit based on that premise. And then I'm going to set my side of self from the pack. Oh yeah, go on over there to the Destin Harbor where everybody is, where you get the same thing. It's the same price. Over here, we got this special other unique characteristic that makes us better than everybody else. So, you should come over to us and then charge more.
Some of those smaller marinas maybe there's a few other operators there, form a co-op. You can get more out of it that way. For example, you can go all in on, a billboard. You can go all in on some directional signage, but utilize, especially even if they're the same category of business, form a co-op. Be very good, be helpful, because some of these small marinas, there's not someone promoting it. Usually. I mean, the one I was at, they did very, very little promoting it. I had to do it all myself. And I would have loved to have more help with some of the operators at that marina, but it wasn't I wasn't there all day, and it just wasn't an environment that people really wanted to help each other. And that was kind of a bummer. But I think there's some benefits to that. I think, Kevin, like you had a good relationship with everybody at Marina. I think you guys all kind of shared ideas. I mean, look, everyone is using all the upsells that we had on the show. Everyone kind of emulated your Fair Harbor account to a T. So you really made everybody better at that marina. And that was a really special thing.
I'm so excited for their future. I'm so glad that they're using all my ideas.
Well, you helped everybody unconditionally, and they'll never forget that. And sometimes it's really crappy how things work out. But everyone that left there, I was talking to Michael Bivens last week at the coalition meeting, and man, he had so many good things to say about you, Kevin. He just said how resilient you were, and if there's anyone that could figure something out, it's Kevin. And he was just so happy with all the stuff that you showed him. And that's what this is all about. I mean, that's where the whole marina just kind of came together, and it's unfortunate what happened, but they're all going to go off. They're going to continue. Each person there is going to continue operating, and they're better for it. Because sometimes, it just doesn't work out the way that
business is business, man.
Business is business, yep.
And we all have to play to our strengths. Some people have a lot of money and disposable income, and if you don't, if you're scrappy and you're a startup like myself and like Ping Pong Tune and like Kemp and all those people that are coming out of that marina, like Jason was, Jason's not a scrappy. I mean, I wouldn't say he's like a scrappy start. He's not a startup, but I would say he's still scrappy. You know what I mean? Like he's still 100%. still scrappy, still bootstraps, dude. So yeah, that's the thing is like I come into the market and that's what I try to do. I try to be a good guy. I try to stick to my word. I try to be helpful. I try to form relationships with people. Like when Jason came into that marina, I was like petrified because everybody just said how much of a fucking shrewd, like cutthroat dude he was. And always kept his cards to his chest, man. Like he's all great with me, because I'm always one. I think he respects my pedigree as a mariner and as a captain and my industry experience. But at the same point in time, like I have no problem like helping, sharing. What do you need? Can we help you? Like we're all in this together. There's no reason for us to be competition. Like we can all make money. We can all crush it coming out of the gate. And I get that back tenfold from almost everybody. And so it goes right back to everything that we're doing with the show and the industry, this event coming up. Like, I hate to, I'm going to keep on pitching this event.
For sure.
Because nobody's making any money. And it's not like because Greg's coming out of pocket for all of this. Like, this isn't a Trip Shock pitch. This isn't like Awkward Watersports guys aren't getting, like, we're not like, we're all coming out of pocket to make this thing happen, to go out there, to be there. So like what we're trying to do is rally and create a community. There's orthodontists, conventions, there's realtors, lawyers, roofers, builders, you name it. Everybody's got industry conferences and a community, and that's what we're trying to do. And we're doing it from the ground up, and we're small, but we in the last year, we've made a lot of ground, and we have, I feel, built an incredible community. And those of you guys who have been supporting us from the first episode to the first few people that joined the group to the first people that signed up for this, the water sport conference, like, thank you guys so much. Like, me and Greg were talking today that it's just really unbelievable. And it's not like there's like this legion of thousands of people that listens to our show, but there's a few hundred of you guys out there. And, I don't know. It looks like we're going to sell this thing out. Like there's going to be
You have 60 people signed up. Kevin was blown away when I told him.
I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought it was going to be like me, you, Steve, Buzzy, Chris Woodruff. There's going to be like 6 of us sitting in a conference room, like jerking off, So I was not the most, I was not, I don't know what's going to happen, man. And maybe that's just me being like, I'm always sort of like the gee golly shucks. Like we're not, nobody likes us. So we're nothing. We're just doing our little podcast to like 5 people. Nobody cares. So those of you guys who do care and that do support the show, that do support the movement, that do support everything that we're doing, fucking get out there, come to the show or come to the conference. If you're listening to this and you're not a Trip Shock partner, join up. I'm going to sell Greg right now because he's been a great resource for us, and Trip Shock's been a great partner to us. And I seen like another shitty like OTA bashing fucking thing today came up on my Facebook feed, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, I don't know. Regardless, I got off on a tangent, but yeah, I'm sure we're going to say it every day until we see every single one of your beautiful faces out there. October 18th. We'll be getting some emails out there, and we're getting some more information in the group. We're going to be talking about it constantly because we are really looking forward to this. Greg's put his heart and soul into it, man. He's worked his ass off while I'm sitting here with my newborn, not doing shit. I don't have a shirt on. I didn't even barely get dressed, man. I barely got out of bed, And yeah. So we're excited.
Yeah, I think that sums it up.
That does it.
All right, so just a couple reminders. Leave us a review on our Apple podcast. We need some more reviews.
We do.
And then join our Facebook group, Watersport Tour Professionals, because we love to hear your feedback and questions. Always active. Lots of good people in that group. And yeah, just come to our conference. Partners.tripshock.com is where you're going to find information, hotel stay, pre-registration, all that good stuff.
Yep.
And that wraps it up.
Yeah, man. Thanks, guys.
All right, let's keep it awkward.
You've been listening to the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. If you're in the water sport industry, this is the podcast that brings the business perspective to parasailing, jet and ski boat rentals, sailing, snorkeling, and everything else. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from this show. Be sure to sign up to our email list at watersportpodcast.com and subscribe in your favorite podcast app. We'll see you next time, and thanks for listening.